Today started out as the best day of my life.
Back here tonight, first show's at 7.
Yes! Woohoo! You know what that's gonna say? Joe Gardner. I did it. I got the gig.
Hey guys, Smiling Review here, and today we are talking about Soul. Soul is an animated Pixar film that came out last year, directed by Pete Docter. And these two things together already almost guaranteed that the movie was going to be great. Pixar just has such a great track record for making movies that are very fun and endearing, but also tend to give profound messages to the audience that are not only applicable for children, but applicable for adults as well. I think Pixar is actually one of the few animation studios where adults tend to get more excited for the movies they're releasing than children do. Not all Pixar movies hit the mark like others, but when you bring Pete Docter into the equation, Pete Docter has worked on so many Pixar movies as a story writer or a producer, but the ones he's personally directed have been Monsters, Inc., Up, Inside Out, and now Soul. So basically what that told me was that this movie was going to be fantastic and that it will probably emotionally crush me. And to be honest, it didn't actually emotionally wreck me to the point I thought it would, but it was still a really enjoyable movie. I think the movie falls into the same issues that I thought Inside Out fell into, which aren't actually issues for myself and other adults, but just in terms of the movie being a kid's movie. I thought Inside Out sometimes got too close to focusing on things that were really interesting, but might have been a bit too complex for kids to understand. But I still thought it would have been an enjoyable movie for kids. Soul, on the other hand, takes it a step further and deals with subject matters such as finding your purpose in life or having an existential crisis. Things that are very relatable for adults, but I would think it would be hard to comprehend for kids. And I just don't think this is a movie I would have understood or enjoyed that much as a kid. But in saying that, there's also nothing that says animated movies have to be exclusively for kids. And I think, like most movies we enjoyed as kids, it's a movie that kids who grow up with it now will probably be able to return to it in the future and gain an appreciation for it and truly understand it. The movie is about a high school music teacher named Joe Gardner who is trying to get his soul back into his body after they're accidentally separated just before his big break as a jazz musician. Also on his journey with him is an unborn soul named 22 who is unwillingly accompanying Joe on his journey and begins to learn the beauty of life despite not wanting to be born. Joe Gardner is voiced by none other than Jamie Foxx, who you might know from Django Unchained or The Amazing Spider-Man 2, among a plethora of other movies. And 22 is voiced by Tina Fey, who you might know from Mean Girls, Date Night, or 30 Rock. Both of them do a really good job with their roles, and they have great chemistry together. Tina Fey especially I thought was hilarious, especially in these little cutaways that are shown throughout the movie that involve her character 22 with her past mentors who were notable historical figures, such as Mother Teresa, Muhammad Ali, or Abraham Lincoln. I thought Jamie Foxx also did a really great job at emoting his character's passion for jazz in his voice. Like whenever his character in the movie is talking about why he loves music or why he loves jazz, the way Jamie Foxx speaks it, like it sounds believable. The film also had some really good side characters that are fantastically voiced by actors such as Richard Ayoade and Alice Braga as the Soul Counselors, or Graham Norton as Moonwind was a standout as well. But the best of them all was the absolutely hilarious Rachel House as Terry. The animation in the real world scenes are also just exceptional. Even though we come to expect that from Pixar films nowadays, it still never fails to blow my mind how photorealistic some of these scenes look at times. Like some of the jazz instruments and the way they look and the shine and glimmer that comes off of them, it's honestly incredible. But what makes the movie stand out in terms of animation is the scenes during The Great Beyond, or The Great Before. They utilize very different animation styles and choices such as abstract or minimalistic designs to depict different things, and there's honestly thousands of different ways they could have gone about depicting these things. But the choices they ultimately went with are done so thoughtfully and so well that you can really feel the amount of hard work and effort that went into the crafting of this movie. I think the best part of this film, though, is the message it sends to the audience. The film poses the audience with a very profound outlook on life that all of us easily forget. And it's not just a message as simple as saying we should cherish our lives. The message it sends rather tells us that not everyone has to have one sole purpose in life, and life isn't about where we end up, it's about the journey. And as we experience this journey of life, our values and beliefs aren't always going to necessarily stay the same. And there's nothing wrong with that. Just because you might have something you're super passionate about in your life, it doesn't necessarily mean that you can only have a fulfilled life if you pursue that one thing to its limit. Which I thought was a really powerful message that a lot of people don't realize, and because of this, ultimately end up thinking their lives have been wasted. Life isn't necessarily about achieving anything or making it to a certain place, and while that might still be one of your goals, ultimately, life is just about living. All in all, I don't think this movie had the emotional impact I thought it would. Probably because I went into this movie with my own high expectations, which is never a good idea. And I think I would have liked this movie to just be a little bit more funnier. But despite this, the message the movie ultimately sends, along with the animation and the music and the voice acting, is what really makes this a beautiful movie worth watching. Especially if you yourself are struggling with feeling like you have no purpose in life, which is something I definitely have struggled with. I think this movie will definitely resonate with you and help you take a step back and rethink some of the heavy emotions you might be feeling. So all in all, Soul gets an 8 out of 10 for me. I honestly had a really good time with it, and yeah, I really enjoyed talking to you guys about this movie, and I will catch you in the next one. See you later, guys.
And the Oscar for Best Animated Feature goes to...